Hello, everyone. My name is John Kale, and this is the first live stream. Hopefully, everything is working okay. Right now, it looks like we're live on YouTube and D Live, but I'm not sure if things are working on Twitch. But like I was saying, this is the live stream for myself, John Kale, or you could call it Uplift Digital, which I'm going to be explaining what that is and what this is all about. I'm going to give a kind of a brief introduction to myself, and then we're going to get into Photoshop and create a quote meme for this first live stream. This one is kind of a test as well, so we're seeing how things work, and I'm looking down at another computer to see if things are streaming or not. But if it's not, then these streams are going to be available on my website, which you can go over to the website, which is upliftdigital.online, and at the very first option is live streams. So I'll get into the website here in a few minutes, but first of all, I should introduce myself. My name is John Kale. I'm from the Charleston, South Carolina area, and what I'm doing here is I'm starting up Uplift Digital, which is to be honest, it's my attempt to get back into the workforce, to start working. And so over the past few years, I've been in school. Well, let me just back up a little bit. For the past 15 years, I have been a digital media specialist. That's been my main forte. And for the past couple years, I have been working towards getting into another career field, which is cybersecurity, cyber and network security. So what I'm trying to do is kind of combine the two, and in an effort to try to actually find some work, but at the same time offer stuff for people to be able to utilize, which is what these live streams are going to be about, and also just kind of like put myself out there in a way that will get people's attention, hopefully. So I've been in the digital media sphere for quite some time. I work with a lot of different people, and I want to get into cybersecurity, but I've been behind a computer since 1994, and so I really like computers and technology, and I still like digital media very much. So I'm looking for work, and that can be full-time work, it can be freelance work, so it's going to be a lot of different things. But what I'm doing here is while I'm looking, I'm going to be doing live streams. Let me show you guys my website and just kind of go through it and explain a few things. So if you go to upliftdigital.online, you'll see there are several options at the very top. So like I was saying, there is live streams, and after this live stream, there will be the option for people to be able to watch these at another time. So that's going to be where those go. I'm going to be creating educational videos, like tutorials, just on many different areas, from digital media to cybersecurity to you name it. It's just going to be a hodgepodge of different kinds of educational videos. Of course, I'm building my portfolio, and right now it's kind of bare, But what I have done, and if you look at the website itself, you see a lot of different stuff already. But to be honest, all of these things are really quite old. They're old pieces, but I wanted to put some stuff up there because I want to build my portfolio up. And one of the things that these live streams are going to be serving as is I'm going to be creating new designs and digital media pieces so that people out there will see that like I'm very skilled at things. I'm looking to build this up so that I can get onto websites such as Upwork.com. Hopefully they'll accept me so that I can be able to get some work through there. But yeah, so right now, if you go to the site, you'll see my portfolio, and there's some stuff in there. But the meme that we're going to be working on this afternoon is it's going to be in my portfolio, and this list will actually be growing because I'm going to be doing a lot of different things that's not on this list. Another thing that I wanted to design will be going through at another live stream will be t-shirt designs. I spent very, very long time designing t-shirts. I mean, I still have my own screen printing gear. I have a 4-color screen printing printer. So I've been doing t-shirt designs for extremely long time. So we'll be I won't be screen printing myself. I'll probably be going through something like Teespring or something, but I'm gonna be designing t-shirt designs, and so those will be in there. Moving along, you also will see Tech Corner. I'm gonna get into like doing reviews, like technological reviews, talk about cybersecurity situations, things like that. So what I wanted to jump back on is the name itself, Uplift Digital. I chose that name basically. Well, the website itself is just basically I won't call it a business per se because it's just really me, but I wanted to name all this to kind of give people the indication about certain things. Let me transition back to me so I can explain what Uplift Digital is. Basically, I am in this modality that the world needs a lot of uplifting, because, including myself, because there's just a lot of things, that are negative. There's just so much negativity going on in the world that I feel like, if there's more injection of uplifting things, then that can probably turn around at least a little bit. And so I want to do my part in that to be able to, contribute to try to have uplifting aspects. So these live streams, the designs, I guess, the philosophy and ideas that are going to come across here are going to just be covering uplifting things. I won't be covering or talking about things in any kind of like negative kind of way. So we're just going to have fun here. We're going to just be talking about things that are in a positive, uplifting manner. Like today's meme that I'm going to be building is going to be a message of upliftment, and I'll be getting into that in a few minutes here after we just finish up with my little bit of introduction here. But we're going to get into getting into Photoshop and create the first meme. So yeah, like I was saying, I am from the Charleston area. Who am I? I have a Who Am I page, and let's see if the internet wants to run. Whenever you're like live streaming, it kind of pulls a little bit on these sort of things. Okay, so that's how it goes. The internet, even on this website. Anyway, I'm from the Charleston area. There we go. Yeah, I'm from the Charleston area. I'm a seasoned digital media specialist, technology and space science enthusiast, and someone who is seeking to break into the realm of cybersecurity. So I just wrote that as brief, and in fact, the whole entire website in itself is it is just beginning. It's gonna evolve and grow quite a bit over time. I just put this together last week, so just to give you an example, you can go down to the right hand side and you'll see like different options to connect with me, from Twitter to Minds, to LinkedIn. That's another thing. My LinkedIn resume is at the very top, and I'm gonna build different ways that people can support me, or hire me, and all sorts of different things. So yeah, that's upliftdigital.online is the website, and that's where we'll be going. Just give me a second here. I'm going to transition over into Photoshop here. All right, so we're gonna get into this. So I've already have a template going here, and I'm actually using an older version of Photoshop, Photoshop CC 2015, and I need to open something here. So today's meme is going to be surrounding Dr. Seuss. Now that might sound kind of silly, but the guy actually, Dr. Seuss, the man himself, he has some pretty interesting quotes. His real name is Theodore Seuss Edgeisel, and he just had some pretty interesting quotes. And the one that I'm going to be using for this one is, and I quote, "Always remember you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and twice as beautiful as you've ever imagined." So I just thought that was pretty good and pretty cool. And so like we're gonna be using that quote. And then so what we're gonna do, what I was thinking to begin with is, of course, the photo of the man himself. This is him right here, and so we're gonna cut him out, and there's just a lot of different ways to do this, because he has like an intricate background. I'm going to be using the eraser, and then just get real small on it, and then I gotta rasterize that layer. And yeah, I already have my logo on the right hand side. That's to indicate that I created this, but I'm going to turn that off for now. So we're on his layer, and I'm going to actually turn that up a little bit. And we're just going to zoom in real close here. So what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of all that background and just kind of, and it doesn't have to be perfect whenever we're doing people like this. The most difficult part is actually the hair, I've found, and there, like I was saying, there are many different ways of going about this. People have their own preferences of how they go about cutting a person out. Some people use this magnetic lasso tool. I just don't. I always found that it kind of just, I don't know. I just never really liked it. I like just zooming in real close and just kind of like, sometimes you have to back out a little bit. Once you get past the hair, it kind of gets a little bit easier with people. And I hope the music's not too loud. Like I said, this is kind of like a test. The very first of anything is always hit or miss. I remember, like, I used to play in bands a long time ago, and that first show was always possible. A lot of them were kind of a disaster, to be honest. So we got that side. It's pretty good. We'll go over here to this other side and do the same thing. It's kind of just roughly. I mean, I'll go back in. I'm gonna clean things up, but you just want to kind of get a rough cutout, and then once I have that and I have all the rest of the background kind of out of the way, then I go back in and kind of like tweak it a little bit. It's more refined. Dude, are we still live? Okay, looks like we are on Twitch finally. That's good. Just go in here. We're almost got it. When it comes to like these memes, you don't really have to be so exact. But if it's like a product or something, you want to get as exact as possible, because like his side is kind of like, you kind of have to shape things sometimes, like I did with the shoulder, because it was kind of cut off by the photo because it's square, but if you can see that how that is now. So then once I have that, sometimes I will just go ahead and like make big chunks of cuts here. Oh, it looks like I see what I did. I gotta finish up over here. Got it. We'll make that eraser a bit bigger. Kind of go around here. And like I said, we'll go in and refine it a bit more. Get all this cut out. I mean, and there's other ways, of course, but I'm just doing this through experience. Like, what I found is the best and quickest way and cleanest way that I have found for myself. So, let's see. So I want to clear out this little area out here. Make that a little bit smaller. And now we're going to start getting into refining things. Yeah, the music that's playing is our hand drums, pan hand drumming. Just kind of chill. There's like little specks here and there you might want to. Well, I'm gonna be cleaning up, and this is all part of the refinement aspect now. Get rid of some of these pixels. And we'll continuously go back and forth, just kind of cleaning things up as I like add certain things like backgrounds. That's good. Oh, looks like we missed something up here. Whoa. So for this meme, I'm just going to use Photoshop, but in the future, I'm going to be toggling between other programs such as Illustrator, After Effects. There's just like a bunch of different all the suite Adobe are very useful, and it just depends on what kind of effects you want, what kind of things that you want. But I'm going kind of simple on this one because it's the first live stream and first design. But I was kind of like thinking before this, I was like, man, we could get into After Effects, because there's some things that like you can't do in Photoshop that's not as good. But this will be just kind of a clean design, kind of simple. But I think the message will be good because it's something that everyone needs to hear these days. Let me read that quote again that we're using. It's, always remember you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and twice as beautiful as you've ever imagined. So that's Dr. Seuss. A lot of people, when they think of Dr. Seuss, they just think of the Cat in the Hat, which we're gonna actually incorporate, because what it'll do is catch people's eye. They'll be like, "Oh, I know who that is," and then they'll put two and two together to know that this is the creator behind that. And I used to collect his Dr. Seuss books when I was a kid. And when I was prepping for this, I didn't realize he died so long ago, in 1991. I was really quite surprised by that. I thought it was a little bit later, but no. Alright, so what we got going on here. So what I like to actually do is we did cut them out, but there's probably a bunch of little things around the corners like I have here. And then what I like to do is try to get them, then cut, and get rid of that layer, and then put them back. That way, like you just have him, and you don't have the possibility of all these little other things, because we might want to put a shadow on him or something, and sometimes there's that extra stuff still remaining. So I'm just kind of cutting some of that light off, because the light is coming from going this way towards him. So, but we might want it in a different direction. I'll show you how that is done. But I think we'll just keep it as it is. All right, so we have him. Let's see. What I like to kind of do is also kind of play around with the tone. Nah, I don't like that. All right, let's see. I think I might want to clean up that one side, and I think we'll be done with him. Let's kind of clean this up a little bit. And always save. That's another thing. Save. And I already pre-saved this. I saved it as Dr. Suess. Have a folder with where all these memes are going to go into. And by the way, these live streams aren't just going to be digital media stuff. I'm going to be covering all kinds of things. Like I was saying, I'm trying to get into the field of cybersecurity, so there's going to be times where it's talking about that, or I might like get into some other like tech kind of subjects. And I'm looking at another screen I have, because the main screen that I'm looking at is kind of not the best. But we're so close into it, you know. When this is all done, certain things aren't going to be noticed. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Let's kind of go here a little bit. And in case anybody was wondering, why does he have a black and white camera? Well, I thought it kind of looked better and kind of stood out a little bit more. Also, don't look as ugly. So there we go. I think that's good enough for right now. If I see something else, then we'll go into that. And all right, so I'm going to use a cloud backgrounds, because clouds are like you saw with my intro logo. I'll show you. Clouds just kind of give that sort of, you know, you're looking up in the sky and just wondering, and but yeah, I'm gonna get into how to create 3D stuff in After Effects, but that'll be at another time. So I'm gonna rasterize that layer. So there we go. See, that looks good. It's already looking uplifting, huh? Just play around. I don't like that. That actually looks good. The contrast, yeah. Then a little bit. That looks good. Okay, so the next thing I was saying is, of course, we have to have the cat in the hat. Trying to see, because I have two different versions of him. I kind of want them just kind of off to the side a little bit. So I think I'm going to use this one. And we're going to put, well, that's a little small. Let's see if I have a larger size. And the image that I'm building here is actually quite a big size. But the effect that alright, I'm going to go back to this size. But the size of the image that I have here is 1900 width, so it's quite the size. So when it's kind of broken down, it'll, or resize, I should say. All right, let me now we're gonna focus on Mr. Cat in the Hat. This one I'm gonna try to see how just the this tool called the magic wand tool. It's like, you know, you see, it's right away, because it had this solid background, and then like just kind of go in and then refined little things, you know, little pixels here and there that didn't clean up. I couldn't do that with the other image of Mr. Suess, because he had like a complex background, and it's just things become a mess when you try that. So I mean, there's just different tools to use that you have to be aware of, and I've done this so many times that I'm used to what to use right away. So we're looking at things on a pixel level, and I'm actually, when we have him, where I'm gonna have him and how I'm gonna have him, he's gonna, all these little anomalies won't even be seen, especially when you render out the image. But this actually cleaned up pretty good. Sometimes that can be a disaster, and you have to go through and cut it out like I did with the other. Just kind of clean it up a little bit here and there. I probably don't even have to do it to this extreme, because since the background is blue and the sky, you know, it's the same. So I'm going to be doing these live streams. I'm going to try to do a few a week. I'm not sure when the next time I'm going to be doing one, but like I said, you can connect with me on if you go to my website. Let me pull that up just for people to see. Let me get on the page, the correct page first, which is upliftdigital.online. If you go there, and if you go on to the right hand side, you'll see like I'm on Minds, Twitter, and these are accounts that I just started, so that's why there's like nobody I'm not connected with anybody. I mean, like I started like all this like just within the past week or so, and well, actually, I started up. This plan was planned months ago, but what happened was I got into studying for the Security Plus exam, and I had to study for it, and I was going to try for that, but I had this plan to get into this as soon as I passed it anyway. But unfortunately, I just fell under the passing score, so I'll have to try for that at another time. Right now, I am trying to just moving on to get a job and to get do some work and move on with my plan with all this. And so if you see like a date like on the Twitter, like I joined months ago, that's why. But I haven't focused on it at all. We're gonna get back into the meme that we're designing here. But yeah, there's just a bunch of different ways that you can connect with me. I'm on LinkedIn. That's kind of like the main hub of where I am, really, because that's where everyone is networking for work. And if you're out there and if you're looking for someone to do some design work for you, I'm up for hire. Or if you're looking for someone to help you in your IT department, I'm also up for hire. I'm putting out my resume and doing all that. So that's all up on LinkedIn, and I'm putting it out there. I'm looking for jobs and applying as I can, as I see them. I haven't seen anything though, but we are in interesting times. So that's kind of like also why I'm doing this, because it's a competitive world out there looking for work. So I was thinking to be creative in this beat that I am going into. All right, so we have them. All right, so I was thinking kind of like, sticking them like kind of like that. And then we're gonna put the quote over here on this side, and we might move him. In fact, I think I am gonna just kind of move everything over a little bit, so we have room for everything. Because I've also got that, and see, now we're starting to get things. I see that I want to go in and kind of clean him up a little bit, Dr. Suess. Some of that blue, or some of this yeah. Let's see, do I want to put a drop shadow? Do that. See how that just looks. It might not look that good. Kind of, it just makes it pop a little bit more. And so we got to look at the side of the light is hitting, and so it's coming from this direction. So the shadow would have to be on that side, kind of downward. It out a little bit. I mean, of course, in real life, there isn't a shadow that would cast like this, because he's, you're looking kind of like with this cloud background. But from what I feel like, this kind of like makes it a little bit more like 3D-ish, kind of like pops out a little bit. I mean, because we could have it without, or we could have it with it. But I just think it kind of looks a little bit cooler with it. But we'll make it a little bit less dark. It's just kind of give it a little depth. And then I'm gonna give Dr. Seuss one too. I mean the Cat in the Hat. But we're gonna have to make his bit less. Yeah. Maybe less. So I think that's pretty good. I mean, for what we're going for. These, the reason why I'm making this meme as well is that the majority of memes out there are just kind of negative and political, and it's just it's always a good idea to try to have some that are just that aren't, and so people will see this. So now I'm gonna bring in the text for the actual quote meme, and first I want to. Oh, weird. I'm actually looking at the fonts, and it's not coming up on the stream. That's interesting. But I'm going to use a font that's called Railway. If I can say that, Railway. Need to make it smaller first. Oh. Auto. Okay. And we'll change the thickness. Make that bold. And because it's a light background, first of all, let me just get it in there where it can be kind of seen. I was gonna put each, I guess, term, or it's all separated by commas, but I'm gonna put them on its own line. I know this is kind of hard to see right now, but you'll see what I'm doing. I'm trying to decide if I want to make everything capitalized, because that sometimes it just looks better. It just stands out for a meme. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, and I do that by going to this website called convertcase.com, and let me just do something here. I'm gonna uppercase everything, and then we're gonna just change that all to uppercase, and then I'm going to make it even more bold, but we're gonna put something around the text to make it stand out. So that's just a lot of text for, I want to make it a lot larger, so I'm going to have to, this is kind of like the topology part, and you have to be mindful of topology. So I've moved it all a bit to where it's kind of more boxed. I'm going to center it this time. I don't always do that, but just for the sake of the size of this quote, because we want it to be as large as possible so that it can be seen as good. But let me go ahead, and I'm going to add a stroke to it, and we're going to add a black stroke, which is kind of, it's almost kind of typical for stroke is the answer. Definitely a drop shadow. And for this drop shadow, we'll make it darker. Yeah, the drop shadow makes it a heck of a lot better. So we'll do that at 100%. I think the stroke kind of is just a little too much, and that's even at 1 pixel. See, we can add the problem with streaming this stuff is that you guys can't see that I'm actually looking at the effects. It's not showing up, which is interesting. But yeah, I'm looking at deciding if I want an outer glow. The outer glow is kind of nice. And we can decide how much that will spread. I think that looks kind of cool. And like I was saying, I'm looking at another screen because I have like a very large, 3-foot wide screen that I'm looking at, but it's actually not the best quality, I guess. But the one I have over on my other side here is a lot better, but it's smaller. But I'm using it as my live stream monitor, I guess you could say. But it's in digital media, you want to compare things to different screens, and I'm actually comparing it to a third, which shows me if I'm online or not streaming. Wow, we've been going about 48 minutes here, but we're almost done. But I think that looks pretty good. So there's a trick that I'm gonna do actually that will make this stand out even more. And that is to make the cloud area a little bit dimmer. And then going to kind of just move this just a little bit to give an even border. And put my logo back up. And since it's the first time for my logo, I have to decide on if that stands out enough. So it kind of doesn't. So I'm gonna do something here, make that stand out. I'm also kind of setting up the template for my memes, and since it has such a light background, we're gonna give it a dark background. I know you'll see what I'm doing. I'm gonna make it stand out. Something like that. Let's make this a little bit. Whoa. Might even want to make the logo a little bit smaller. Yeah, this is the first meme, so this will kind of act as my template. I mean, even though I built sort of a template, but all right, I think that's it. Save it. And in the future, I'm not doing it this time, but in the future, I'll pay attention to any kind of comments that are going on. I'm not even looking at YouTube or DLive. I haven't even seen if it's actually working. if the comments are working on like YouTube or whatever, we'll just have to see. All right, so, but in the future, I'll get your input on things and ask to see if you what you guys think. But I think that's where I'm gonna stay on this. I was kind of thinking of making the Cat in the Hat kind of, I don't know. I think it's just fine as it is. But I think that's it. This is the meme. It serves its purpose. I think it can be read. I think it's a good message, and basically that's it. So I think that's where I'm gonna end this one. Of course, I'm gonna render this out as a JPEG. And if anyone doesn't know how to do that, I can do a tutorial on some of these basics. But for this, I just wanted to kind of like run through something like this for the first one, and I think that's where we're gonna end on this very first live stream. So yeah, that's it. So go to upliftdigital.online. That's where my work will be. I'll be putting this up there, and so yeah, I guess this is it. But if you've been watching this, I appreciate it. Or if you're watching this later on, thanks a lot. So yeah, my name is John Kale, and definitely connect to me on LinkedIn or Twitter or Twitch or any of these platforms, and so that you can be notified the next time I go live. And the next time, I'm not sure what we're gonna design next, but I think it's gonna be a T-shirt design. I might get into Illustrator, do some of that, some vector work. But yeah, that was it for this time. I appreciate it, and so that's where we're going to end it. And until next time, everyone, thanks a lot. You take care of yourselves, and goodbye.